Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can. Can he swing from a web? No, he can't, cause he's Spider-Man. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man. Alright, what's poppin', y'all? Welcome back to another YouTube video, and today we're taking a look at another film review. Today we're taking a look at the newest Sony movie and the last Sony movie that is going to be taking place in this Spider-Man universe that they've been building and that they've been going on about for the past few years. However, this one is actually really good, in my opinion. I think this one is one of the best that they've ever done, and you know what, we're not getting any more Sony movies, so they might as well end it with a bang, and they did leave it open for a number 2, but that is unfortunately not going to be happening. We're unfortunately not going to be getting a number 2 for this movie. But without any further delay, let's take a look at what Google has to say and get into why I think Kraven is actually a good movie. So, Kraven did come out in 2024. It has a 5.4 out of 10 on IMDb, a 16% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 6 out of 10 on AV Forums. You can watch this on Google Play or on Sky Store. Kraven's complex relationship with his ruthless father starts him down a path of vengeance, motivating him to become not only the greatest hunter in the world, but also one of its most feared. So how the story actually starts is with Kraven and his brother, both of which are attending this very prestigious sort of high school, this very sort of rich high school where they are, you know, very popular. I do believe it's in London, and they are being taught all these different stuff, but unfortunately their mother passes, and they get taken out of class, and their father thinks, you know what, your mum's just died, let's go take you hunting, let's go get you to kill an animal. So they go out and they go and kill a lion, but they don't actually kill it because they don't want to. They don't want to actually hurt the lion. So Kraven actually, you know, gets eaten by the lion, and a girl and her grandma are actually in passing, and they use a drug to revive them and get him back to life, and in doing so, unfortunately fucks with his whole body because the lion blood got inside the wound. He passes out. He then gets the power of the lion, and with this power of the lion, he can now do loads of great things. He is a hunter, and he decides to leave his father's house and go on his own adventure, and he is now, for whatever reason, living in the last known location of his mum, like her last place that they spent together, and they are, you know, he starts defending the land that his mother left, and they are now fighting a load of hunters, and he then goes and finds the person that saved his life, and they become friends. They then kidnap his brother to get at his father and to get back at him because he killed a load of other sort of, you know, bad people, some gangsters, some crime men, and in doing so, he gets, you know, tricked by the rhino, and he gets tricked by the rhino again, and he finds his brother, saves his brother, kills the rhino in this big fight with Buffalo, and then, you know, saves the day. There is a subplot with a guy called Focus, which I have no idea who the fuck Focus is in the entirety of Marvel, but you know what? Here he is. There's a guy called Focus now. Hocus pocus, you've lost your focus. And then his brother turns into the chameleon, because he takes the same drug that the rhino took, and now he feels all powerful and super strong. And that's pretty much where the movie ends, and I'm going to be honest, it may be a very shit way that I explained it. I'm going to be honest, I didn't explain it in the best sort of format, I didn't explain it in the best way, but it was a really good movie. It was action-packed, it had a really nice flow to the story, it felt like a really good sort of detective drama, and hunting down the bad guy. I'm gonna be honest, I was a little bit disappointed in the rhino. I expected the rhino to be like Hulk size, and it is a new interesting take on the rhino, because mainly the take on the rhino is one of the actual few supervillains which actually use a suit instead of, you know, getting actual powers, so it would be perfect for the MCU because they absolutely adore giving these characters stupid iron suits. So, this character would actually work in the MCU, but they don't actually utilize his sort of being trapped in a suit for this movie. They turn him into the Lion by giving him into the Rhino by giving him like really rock hard skin and make him grow a horn, because everybody has that animal inside you. You got that alpha, you got that dog in you, you got that dog in you, you got that dog in him. And Kraven got his powers from taking a drug to save his life, and he got his sort of life mixed with like lion blood, so he's now incredibly strong and ready to fight crime and save the wildlife, which is a very noble cause. And I always thought Kraven was supposed to be a villain, but this movie definitely depicts him as a hero, which I definitely don't mind. Seeing Kraven in a good light is pretty good, and they are starting to do that a lot more with these Sony movies by making the heroes be seen in a much nicer, a much better, a much more respectable light, and making them more into heroes than villains. Also, what I found out recently is that they could have used Spider-Man in these movies. They just decided not to. They thought it'd be better to not have Spider-Man in these Spider-Man villain movies. Fair enough, it's the villain origin story, it's how the villains became the villains, but Kraven is deadly scared of spiders. He absolutely terrified of spiders, so no wonder he doesn't like Spider-Man. Is that the narrative we're going with? Is that what we're going with? Because he's scared of spiders? I think that is a pretty cheap and lazy way to write his character and to say why he's a Spider-Man villain, by making him scared of spiders. I don't know, I just feel like that's really cheap, and there could have been better ways for them to write him into, the Spider-Man lore and to why he hates Spider-Man. Not that they're going to do that, because they're scrapping this whole universe. They're not actually going through with it. They're not keeping up with this Sonyverse anymore. It is ending. There is going to be no more like Spider-Man villain movies. It ends with Kraven, which is unfortunate because they did leave it open for a number 2, and I actually liked this one, and I would have appreciated a number 2 for this Kraven the Hunter, because it actually would have gone quite hard. We get to sort of see what they set up with his brother, because they did actually set up a good story with his brother, and his brother turning evil and going to turn into his father, which I think is a really interesting plot line, because he's been walked over his entire life, so obviously he's going to go into adulthood and into owning the business with the same sort of attitudes that his father had, to sort of show that he isn't going to be walked over anymore. He's going to be here, and he's going to give it his all. He's going to try his best and be the hero that his father wasn't there for, and just take over the family business. Basic gangster shit. The action was really good, the CGI was kind of mid, and Aaron Taylor Johnson is fucking hot. He is hot, and he showed his abs most of the movie, so that is a bonus in my book, and probably a bonus in many other people's books. So if that is something that you're into, this movie should be right up your alley. I'm going to be making LEGO customs from this franchise and from this movie, so do expect those on the channel over the next couple of days to sort of celebrate the end of the sort of Sony Marvel run. And something else came out, that Sony was only making these movies because if Sony makes these movies about these characters, then Marvel isn't allowed to use them in their MCU, which, if you're earning money from the Tom Holland Spider-Man MCU, why would you hinder them, and why would you sort of ruin their opportunity to, have good characters and have good stories? Why would you try ruin that? Because Venom is a fan-favorite character, Kraven is a fan-favorite character as well, so why would you try and hinder their creative process, and why would you try and stop them from having all of these characters when it could make your movies so much better? Because you can still have Spider-Man, you can still use Spider-Man. Everybody wanted an Andrew Garfield 3rd movie and a Tobey Maguire 4th movie. You could have been working on that, but instead you made Morbius, and instead you made Madam Web. I'm going to be honest, this one was actually quite good. The story had a good flow, it had a nice rhythm to it, and it was actually quite impactful as well. Had a good message, had a lot of action, and you know what, I wasn't a huge fan of Kraven before going into this movie, but seeing him after this movie, I think he's actually a pretty decent dude. I think he's a pretty decent guy, and you know what? Should be respected a little bit more. So, here's to Kraven and to Sony's sort of run of movies. I think this was really good, and if you haven't seen it, you should definitely watch it. The critics definitely went way too hard on it. I don't think they, should have gone as hard as they did on it, because it isn't terrible. Madam Web and Morbius are definitely worse. It does have its sort of cheesy lines and its sort of basic movie tropes where it's like, oh, you were expecting me, I was expecting you, oh. The basic lines which are used in pretty much every action movie, but that doesn't make it a bad movie. There is still times where this one does shine and stand on its own and have its own personal thing. You're only shitting on it because it's the Sony movies. You're only shitting on it because Sony has a bad rep already with the, with Venom, Morbius, Madam Web. I do believe there's a couple more, but I'm not too sure. But I think this one absolutely slaps, and hate me for having this opinion, but I think it slaps, and it's pretty good to take a look at it straight after watching Mufasa as well. The animal love on the channel right now goes hard. We are taking a look at all the Animals movies recently on the channel, so if you're an animal lover, we've got stuff for you on the channel right now, so stay tuned and check it out. Other than that, I hope you all enjoyed this YouTube video. I will see you all in the next one. I hope you all have an excellent day, and goodbye. Stay home and stay safe. If you do want me to review any other movies, TV shows, or animes, please do let me know down in the comments below, and I'll get on it as quickly as possible. But other than that, bye-bye.